I am the man. I am the king of my land. Doing everything that I can. I know real G's understand. I got a big family tree.
I'm on the third chapter, but the first two chapters is just, it's crazy because it goes back to like people just gotta find something to hate. Like they really give a fuck about shit that don't matter to them, and that's why they feel the way that they do. Like he's basically just teaching like everybody's going to have a fuck to give, but you gotta find out, is that fuck worthy enough? So like for me, if I'm gonna give a fuck about something, it's gotta be family, friends, or something that involves myself.
Right.
If it doesn't really concern these three things, I need to go ahead and, you know, just reevaluate my whole thought process. But it just, you saying that made me think about that whole shit. Like people really gotta find something to just be mad at, something be hating on, be hateful about. Like that shit is crazy.
Well, I think what people get a little delusional, because I think what happens is that people might form an opinion about something and not necessarily have all the facts. But now that you form that opinion, you feel like you can't change your mind. People feel like just because once I pick a side, I gotta stay on the side, because now you don't want to feel like flip flop. But I'm like, okay, well shoot, if I say something about this people, and then maybe I was wrong. You know, maybe they not like this.
Right.
You know, yeah. But you didn't stayed on this side, and you have a community on this side, no matter what it is. You can talk about gun control, you can talk about racism, you can talk about LeBron Kobe, you can talk about LeBron Jordan. It's like once you commit Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, Samsung, it doesn't matter what your argument can be about, you know. Once you pick a side, it's so hard to change people's mind.
Hey, bro, Mo P with the tier. Resubscribe for the 6 months. I appreciate that sub, my boy. Tell the truth, and they'll tell the truth, and they use hate as a shield instead of being objective. This is very true. From Mo P.
Paco says, spoken like a true boss. Appreciate you, Paco. I do feel like that though, Paco. People just don't leave room to change their mind. Like it's okay, you know. I have seen some people do, but I'm gonna flip it. Let's just say I grew up thinking all white cops. I hate all white cops. I hate all police officers. You know what I'm saying? You know, but then one do something to save my life. You know, ideally I'd be like, you know, okay, well maybe they all not as bad, but nope, I'm gonna still he probably won't save my life. So people will change a story to fit a narrative. Now, I'm gonna say that again. People will change a story to fit a narrative.
Talk to him, bro. Talk to him.
I think that is a big issue. Now, you see this in everything, whether it could be politics or even sports. You know, people don't look at. People can get so stuck in their ways that they cannot see. And then it comes down to perception. Perception is everything. You know.
Woo!
So if you
talk to him, real.
If you look at if you see when people are talking about particular stuff, like I said, I'm not even talking about serious stuff. I could even be talking about an Xbox or PlayStation, and I'm not even saying I'm not guilty of this, because I know my stuff. I like to stick to it. Like I'm not buying a Samsung Galaxy phone; they blow up on your face. It took one model phone to be blowing up in people's ears to say I'm never. And like I tell people, if you go eat somewhere and you get food poisoning at Jack in the Box,
listen,
you are not going to go back to Jack in the Box.
You remember my story about Wendy's? I ain't been back since.
My point. And it might have been just that moment, that day of time that you went to that particular location. It could have been that one chicken finger out of the bag of 350 that you had, that you ate that was bad, that you caused food poisoning. But since you got food poisoning, I only had food poisoning once. It was at a seafood place in Greenspoint Mall. And now that I say it out loud, I feel like I should have known I was going to get food poisoning from the moment I ordered my food. But that's not the part of the story I'm trying to stick with here. What I'm saying is that perception, once your perception is fixed, that's why people as celebrities can get accused of being a rapist. But now no matter what happens, that label will always stick with you. Deshaun Watts can go out there and beat every case that it was said about him. But now that narrative has been formed, people will not be able to change their mind and say, oh, maybe is people still mad at Michael Vick?
Yes.
Dog and animal lovers are still mad at Michael Vick. This man has had one of the best turnarounds I've ever seen a celebrity have. Every time I see Michael Vick on these shows on FS1, he is talking proper, got on suits and everything. He just seemed like a completely different person than he was back in 04 and 03 when he playing for the Atlanta Falcons. But people won't change their perception because they don't want to. And if they don't want to, there's nothing you can do about those people. That's why sometimes you don't even want to argue. If you talk about Black Lives Matter with somebody and they're like, well, all lives matter, it's like they don't at that point, people don't want to get the point.
Because it's like you said, perspective is everything. Once somebody is made their mind up, it's a wrap. There's no point in wasting your breath on trying to plead your point with that person because their shit is made up and their perspective is that, you know, this is what it is. What you say don't fucking matter. Even though you have a very valid point with facts to back it up, it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter because if I believe what you're saying, now that is going to change my whole reality.
Exactly. And
that's not something people want to deal with. People don't want a reality shake. Not a reality check, a reality shake. When your whole reality has been shaken up because what you thought was one thing is not true.
When that bitch turns
upside down,
and you won't know what to do. You don't know how to act. You don't know how to move now in this new world that you've been exposed to because what you thought was right this whole time has been exposed. And now your perspective on things is completely different and you don't like that shit. No. And that's why they constantly stick by their guns of whatever topic they're defending.
Well, just
that shit is crazy.
Think about people. Let's just say, think about people that are racist. Think about racist people. Think about they grew up into that. Most people that's racist. Racism is taught, as we all know. So because you can put babies in a room together, they don't know what's going on. Everybody having a good time.
And if you don't know, if you somehow tuned into this stream, if you didn't know, racism is taught.
Right.
Gotta reiterate that shit. That shit is taught. That is not in your gene. That's not something you were born with at all. This is something that was taught.
Right.
Please remember that shit. But go on.
Racism is definitely taught. So, but if you grew up your whole life and since I will say you've been racist since 7 years old. That's a very young age to be racist, by the way. But let's just say if you were racist at 7 years old, now you're 47 years old. You will not change how you think. You maybe by the time you even get 17 or 27, you're probably not gonna change because that's how you grew up. That's kind of it boils down to different things, and I go a little deeper and even go with religion. That's why for most people they will believe what they were taught growing up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whether you're Christian, whether you're Christianity, but then were you Catholic, were you Presbyterian, however you said, were you Baptist, were you Pentecostal, were you Seventh-day Adventist? That's Christianity got all of them. Now were you Muslim? Were you Jewish? Mm-hmm. I mean, no, did you practice Hinduism? Did you practice Buddhism? I don't know if I said that already, but whatever it is, that's what you're going to stick with. Very seldomly, you do have people change over and shift and but that's a very small number because no matter what, you're going to believe this because this is what you will always have believed in. Just imagine, you right before you die, you find out that there's no heaven. It would change it would change everything. You will question everything that you have ever known.
That you ever learned. Ever learned, ever read, ever been taught. Of course. Absolutely.
And people do not want to go through that stress. That is
Can't fuck with it, touch this.